I, Kartik Arora, on behalf of UPES and Ideology, I welcome you all for our today's webinar. Uh, Ideology is a global edtech brand which brings new age tech courses which will help you in upskilling yourself in association with academia and industry. So our industry, there are so many partners we have in industry, and today's webinar we are doing in association with UPES. The topic of our today's webinar is turn post-pandemic challenges into opportunities. And our guest speakers are Dr. Hironmoy Roy, who is a PhD and Master's in Economics, a renowned scholar with over 20 years of robust experience in research and teaching, and Dr. Praveen Jadhav. Dr. Praveen Jadhav is a PhD from IIT and a postgraduate in economics. He's a seasoned researcher with an extensive research background in academia and a leading educationist. Now, I hand over to Dr. Hironmoy Roy to take the proceedings from here further. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kartik. Thank you. And welcome all the participants and my co-presenter, Dr. Praveen. Praveen, my PPT is visible. Can you see my PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But just put it on the full screen mode.
Fine. Okay. So Praveen, if anytime this PPT is not visible, please let me know. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay. So participants, I am Dr. Hironmoy Roy. So this session is on post-pandemic challenges into opportunities. So how challenges can be, looked as an opportunity, and what is the role of international, business opportunities, especially in the area of international business, and how we can look for a career in the international business. That is the main theme of presentation today. We'll basically talk about global business, international business opportunities. With me, I have Dr. Praveen Jadhav. So this session is a 1 hour session, and this is divided into 30 minutes. 30 minutes I would talk on challenges and opportunities, and Dr. Praveen will specifically focus on FDI part of the challenges and how FDI will shape the future international business arena. So this is what is the basic. We are from UPS and we are in QS ranked and NAC ranked, NIRF ranked university. I am Dr. Hironmoy Roy, as already Kartik has said. So coming quickly to the presentation, today's presentation, post-pandemic challenges that have fostered innovation. Now, let us first try to understand the challenges, the post-pandemic challenges part, and then we'll shift to the innovation part and what are the new opportunities that we are gaining, and how henceforth post-pandemic things are changing for business as well as international business and international trade, and what are the opportunities for the budding managers, those who have a degree in international business, how they can. I would like to tell you is that Dr. Praveen is also from international business background, and I am also from the international business background. So to start with, let us see how COVID-19, what challenges it has brought. Prolonged distancing, that you already, this is very much in the public domain and it is very much known. So prolonged distancing has actually made lot of things very difficult. Some other most important impact of COVID-19, loss in unemployment. We have actually our number of unemployment not only in India, entirely globally. This is a phenomena. Economic downturns means macroeconomy is coming or it is very slowing entire world. The GDP growth, the investment, the trade, export, import, consumption, everything is coming to a downturn. Health sector, all of you already know, I need not to tell much about health and well-being and relationships. Health sector has gone I would say a major doldrum and the challenges and the how to manage these challenges, that health sector is the one such sector which has actually had hardest hit from the pandemic. Not only in India, it is the world phenomena, global phenomena. So these have actually changed our habits and behavior patterns. For example, work from home. Work from home, and I'm sure the students are attending classes from home. So online has become a phenomena. I mean, it is an important phenomena of life. There are also drop in car traffic due to pandemic. I'm sure now things are gradually coming into back into the normal, but for almost 2 years, traffic was very less. Public transport ridership was less. Reduction in services consumption and travel demand. So these are some of the most important impact and sectors. Which are the sector hardest hit? Health sector, I said it was, so many. It was very challenging for the health sector to cope up with this situation because huge demand for health services, hospital beds, doctors, nurse, vaccine. But it was very difficult to meet the demand with the prompt supply. That was the huge. But however, many national government, many state governments have done tremendously well, including India, to put in place the hospital services for entire country. And India has demonstrated very well in the leadership of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. My hats off to him. The numbers, COVID vaccination numbers we have achieved. According to the World Bank report, you see the impact of COVID-19, it has affected 80% of the MNCs. So international business arena, you see 80% of the MNCs are badly hit, badly affected. This is the report from World Bank. World Bank is giving this report. Then also 5,000 MNCs made their downward revision of the 2020 earnings by 30%. So you see, if we talk about international trade, international business, what challenges we have got? MNC earning has gone down. And since MNC earning has gone down, that obviously means the transaction, international transaction, the export, import has gone down drastically. And hence there was a hit into the international business aspects for whole world. And these effect can be measured, can be analyzed, can be gauged in 4 parameters. And these are the 4 important parameters of internationalization, international business or globalization, I can say. These 4 parameters are movement of people, that was hardest, that was hit hard. Information, that was also affected. I mean, the way we give the information and provide the information. Money part also affected. So you see, in the latest budget, Government of India has already announced we are coming with a digital money. So money part is also affected. Not only India phenomena, it is a global phenomena. All of you know huge rise of cryptocurrency, the other medium of the currency, other than legal tender. This is crypto is not a legal tender, but huge changes has taken place during last 2 years. And products. So these 4 aspects: movement of people, information, money, and products. Products means, export import has hardest hit also from the pandemic because there is distancing, there is work from home. So how physically things could be transported, produced, supplied, and transported. So in these 4 parameters, we try to see the impact and what challenges and henceforth what opportunities are arising from there to take a cue. So cross-country differences in the impact. These 4 impact, 4 movement of people, information, money, and product. There are huge cross-country impacts on all these 4 aspects. For example, I give an example: tourism. Tourism sector is also one of the hardest hit got from COVID-19. The revenue receipts fallen from 1480 US billion, US dollar billion 1480, and it has dropped to 310. So you see what is the amount of quantum of fall. You see this figure. You can very clearly visualize this figure. This figure speaks a lot. If you see whole world, the tourism minus 65%, drop in tourism industry. And this is a report by World Tourism Organization, which is the most apex institution of the tourism report that they have given. World, it is a 65% fall. Europe 66. Asia Pacific, it is 72. America 55, Africa 57, Middle East 57. So these are some of the huge impact that is happening throughout the world. So I have just cited only one sector to see how much contraction has happened, and henceforth the business, the investment, the job opportunities, etc. has gone down. However, there is good news is that things are reviving very fast, and we are actually turning back to the normal very fast, and the world economy has already started, so these impacts, I said, people, information, money, products. These are the four. Areas. These are the four parameters of the effect. So I would like to discuss some of the most important effects, not if not all, because time is very short. So I would like to I would like to give you because time is very limited. So I would like to give you a bird's eye view. What are the impacts in terms of people, information, money, and products? So very first thing, people, social distancing, I already said. Migration and movement stopped, mobility restrictions. Every time there is flight cancelled and total ban or restrictions on the movement. Even if movement started with some sort of, checks and balances like testing and positive reports, etc. So people's mobility take a very, until date, it has not come to the normal. It will take some time. It will take some time. Okay. Anti-migration policies have already, several countries have become anti-migration, started bringing anti-migration policies. And these has hit the whole aviation sector, international movement, and unemployment and social risks. Because if movement stop, how business will happen? Because people's movement is very important so far as international mobility and international business and globalization concerned. Information, in the age of information, I suppose you are the students and you know how we are now communicating to you guys so we have totally transformed to a digital world. I mean, we have totally transformed to a digital world. Getting my point? So digitally we are in the classroom, you are also attending digitally from home. So there is not only in educational institution, it is entire business, entire government activities. Digitalization has taken a very fast move, and this has again complicated the situation. A lot of restrictions in media, freedom of speech, etc., etc. Recent debate on Indian, that social media kind of regulation that has a lot discussion. So what are the technological solutions we can have to expedite this whole digitalization? And inequality in countries like India, inequality of technology, digital haves and digital have-nots. Many rural areas, people are actually out of the digital world. So we are creating further inequality. How we deal with this problem? Not only government, but business also have to address this problem. Money, in money terms, increase of nationalism. People are thinking in terms of their own money, own digital currency, and there are those foreign, that what it is called the foreign exchange is also now, for example, Indian foreign exchange has grown a lot because we are giving more focus to our own currency to strengthen as well as the other part of the transaction like crypto and digital currencies. So we have already announced that we'll have our digital money and we are not going to use other digital. India will have its own legal digital money. Till date, it was not legal tender, but henceforth will have a legal tender digital money, like paper money. Currency devaluation outflows. Outflows means those export import affected. India investment. I am not talking much, but Dr. Praveen will specifically focus on investment and products movement. It has restricted within the trading bloc, South Asia, Europe, US. So US versus India or South Asia versus European Union, that actually come down. So trading blocks have are operating within themselves, and again there is a restriction on trade, increase of nationalism, hence flow restricted. Reorganization of trade and investments also reorganization is happening. Global supply chain is one of the important area which is hardest hit. All of you must know that global supply chain is another very important area which is hardest hit from the COVID-19. And if global supply is in hit, then definitely your export, import, international business will come to a contraction, will be in halt. An increase of protectionism is a phenomenon now, and that is leading to contraction of international business and international trade. Now, we cannot leave the things world here. We have to now revive. We have to now reshape. So how again we increase the things? That the thought process. And with this, when I am talking about technology at the forefront and innovation, today's topic is innovation. So how new challenges can be turned into opportunities via the innovation and technology. Of course, digitalization is one of the very strong innovation happening throughout the world, and we all are a part of it, and hence international business and international trade is also a part of it. And any student looking after now a career for international business, a degree in international business, definitely I am sure it will give dividend in tomorrow's world, because things are changing in a very different way and also in a very fast way. And hence, if we now get our education in that direction, I'm sure your future will be very bright. So with this focusing on challenges, now I come to the important innovation, because today's session focusing on innovation. So what kind of innovation we are talking to? There are four kinds of innovation. One is mission oriented innovation, second is enhancement oriented innovation, third is adaptive innovation, and fourth is anticipatory innovation. So out of all these four kinds of innovation, let us try to understand what are these four types and which is more desirable for us and with which we must align first. So mission oriented innovation is sustaining, it will bring sustaining change. So actually we need sustainable things if it is a mission oriented innovation. If it is an enhancement oriented innovation, it is more optimizing the change. And transformative change, that is anticipatory. So if we have anticipated that COVID-19 would have done like this, we have actually we would have a transformative change, but transformative change has not happened. So what we are saying, anticipatory change has or innovation has not happened. Actually we are now compelled, that is the disruptive change, because we are now compelled to adapt. That is the adaptive innovation. So adaptive innovation is very important nowadays, because COVID-19 has compelled us to adapt, and that is called disruptive change. But what is desirable as a student of international business, I would like to tell you, actually we should have transformative change, that is anticipatory innovation. If we can anticipate beforehand, it will, our life will be much, I mean our success in the or facing the challenges and turning the opportunity in challenges into opportunities will be much better. So my suggestion to you guys as a student, when you will take up or you will study some subjects which is focusing on technology and innovation, then you should learn more of a transformative change, because disruptive change anyway will adapt, but transformative change will give us more opportunities. So I hope I am making this point clear, that it is anticipatory innovation, it is transformative change that is needed. So I give you now a very clear idea of mission driven innovation. Four types I am talking about. So mission driven innovation means, to achieve an articulated goal with specifics which might not be very clear. Enhancement oriented innovation, the definition goes like this. We often starts with a question, how might do X better? So we are doing certain things, but how we can do it much better, and questioning the whole process and whether it can be done differently. That is the whole enhancement oriented. Adaptive innovation, that I said, we are compelled to adapt because disruption has come. COVID-19 has taken us to the disruption, so we have to actually adapt. So we have adapted. So how might our situation demand changes in how we do? So what you see, your situation demanded to work from home, so we have done it. Your situation demanded not to attend classes from physical classroom, but from Blackboard, Google, Zoom, etc., Google Meet, Zoom, etc. So you are attending from, so we have already adapted. So this situation has demanded this change and we have adapted. But this is not anticipatory. We could not anticipate this actually. Most important is for a student, for a manager, for an MBA guy, anticipatory innovation. Because if I can foresee the future, I can do much better. The challenges we are facing, we would have actually met with more solutions than challenges if we could anticipate. So anticipatory innovation, it means, engaging with a significant uncertainty about not only what works, but also what is appropriate. So if we could anticipate this situation, things would have been much easier. That's what. So these are the four type of innovation, and these are the four type of innovation, and fourth will give, all will give more opportunities, but fourth is more important. I give you an example. Mission driven innovation, what happened? Most obvious example of mission driven innovation is COVID-19 vaccine. So we actually, after some time trial and error, we have come out with, many countries have come out with a COVID vaccine, a COVID-19 vaccine. So these related arrangements for a fair widespread distribution, this is the mission driven. I have a mission to get a COVID-19 vaccine and well distribute it nationally as well as globally. That distribution plan, that is the mission. So I have a mission to provide this vaccine to this number of masses in my country as well as in other country. This is the mission. And this bulk of these innovation and efforts are actually not focused in, if you see the history of the innovation, actually most of the things have not happened in developing countries, poorer countries. It happened in developed countries, though India contributed a lot and many other developing countries contributed later on a lot, but efforts started in developed countries much faster and much intense way. There is no doubt in that. So mission driven innovation, actually country like India, we are actually laggard, though we have performed well, that is, there is no denying of the fact. So as a student, what you have to see, for example, first attempt of partnership or US one COVID-19 test brought together by United Kingdom government. And if we talk about enhancement oriented innovation improvements, then efforts in COVID-1 infection control and management, how we control the infection and how we manage it. For instance, approach being taken around the world for tracking, tracing, quarantining, and shielding vulnerable groups. I think all of you know this, that the Setu Arogya Setu software was, tracking and then tracing. Not only Arogya Setu, there are several other software kind of things was tracking, then tracing and if there is found positive, quarantining. Now quarantine was a challenge. Where is the place? Where is the bed? Where is the hospital? So entire management, is a mission driven, and shielding vulnerable groups, especially the poorer sections, because rich section can afford, but how poorer? Adaptive example, adaptive innovation. I'm giving you example. Uh, locally generated ideas. For example, what we can do in India for solving the vaccination problem. So innovation needed here, and it emerged from an environment that is, we have an environment of scarcity of resources. So with scarce resources, how we have done it? Pune, that the Pune-based medicine firm, that they have already developed the COVID-19 vaccine at a very low cost and frugal production effective PPE kit. That is the M19 initiative in India. So they have done it, or we have done it with very much of lack of resources, constrained resources. We have done it. That is the adaptive because we are actually compelled to do something, and we have done it. So that is the adaptive. So but if we could foresee it and we could have started long back, definitely the intensity of the effect would have been much lesser. So in this context, actually, world should look at these post-pandemic things now, and governments around the world are trying to rethink how the post-pandemic world will look like. So this includes, a global reset. Now globally, recovery from the pandemic, from the economic recession, are being, emphasized and planned and activated, and dramatic, vulnerabilities are happening around the world, So this is the problem. Okay. So this includes, an economic system created such dramatic vulnerabilities in the pandemic. So, okay. Sorry for a small disruption. So this actually international economic system now needs to be created in a new way, and we are talking about green recovery and vulnerabilities of the pandemic. So the solution that lie ahead is policy level innovations, and policy level uh, globally, nationally. There is a change in thought process and new way of doing the thing, both in the government as well as at the business level as well as the societal level. So entire things has to change. So innovation is taking place. So you see, digitally India, where in terms of adoption index, where we stand, we are very low in the digital adoption index compared to Sweden, UK, Canada, Australia, Russia, Japan, Germany, etc. But however, there is very huge hope that we are growing very fast, and our digital adoption index will definitely go very fast, and we are experiencing a growth of 90%. So what is the take home for you guys is that when you are doing your MBA, or you are pursuing an international business MBA or any other MBA, you have to have a high focus on digitalization of the organization of the international business arena, and you have to learn so many things, digital operations, that will definitely pave your future towards a very successful career, that I can assure. 2025 projection of digitalization for India, it will grow from 18 to 23%. This is a report by this is an international report published by World Bank, and size of the Indian economy in dollar billion terms, you can see it will go very high amount of, by 2025 will reach 795 to 1015 billion US dollar, that's being projected. So and international trade and international business will also grow in that way. So if you want to really get a dividend out of it, you have to have a digital innovation in your thought process, mindset, and business and everywhere. See, digital economy is growing. By 2020 we are here somewhere, and henceforth we are further growing after 2020. Now it is 2022, so we are in the rising curve. Okay, then again, this also you see, on a scale of 100, uh, 0 to 100, again, this figure is also showing the growth of social media, big data, cloud. So I hope all of you are now conversant with these things: big data, cloud computing, digital economy. Now, as a business student, you may not be going to that much of technology, but as a business student, you have to have the business sense of this big data, cloud, and social media, everything. You should know the business aspect, marketing aspect, and promotional aspect, and pricing aspect. That's your learning point, talking point. So with this, I would like to stop here and invite my co-presenter, Dr. Praveen. Please go ahead with your presentation. And I thank the participant for a patient listening of my session, and I am grateful that you are so patiently hearing the things. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat box. We will try to answer after the Praveen sessions. Praveen, you can go ahead.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is visible, Praveen.
Okay, so good evening all, and thank you UPS and Dr. Roy for inviting me for this very positive topic. And when I got this topic, so that time I got like, some positive vibes. Why? Because everybody since the pandemic talking about the, how the pandemic have affected to the people, to industry, to business. But this is like the topic which I like, go through, like how we can convert these challenges into opportunities, specifically considering the international business. And so that's what I intend to do in my presentation, because there are two important dimensions of international business. One is cross-border investment, and second is the supply chain, because right now all these multinational enterprises have their businesses in the different part of the countries in the world. And if you don't have a good supply chain or logistic in place, then it has a very adverse impact on overall international business. So I will also consider what are the issues with the logistic and supply chain, and how we can convert these issues and challenges into the opportunities. That what I intend to talk in my session. So first, like when we are considering the foreign investment, so whenever the money is flowing from the one country to another country, it is known as the foreign investment. So let's suppose why, like when we are considering the foreign direct investment, and actually why we need a FDI, the basic reason is it is many times it is a very difficult for any company to manufacturer here and actually make transport that goods to the another nation. Let's suppose the Coca-Cola is basically company from the USA. If they are starting the manufacturing in US and starting the exporting the goods to India, then it is very difficult, because there is a transportation cost, there is a huge trade barriers in terms of the maybe the tariff or the import duty, we can say. Then it is difficult, and it is enhancing the production cost. So obviously it is better to make an investment or a bottling plant in India, so we can actually remove all these barriers and cost from your and enhance the profitability. That's why we are undertaking the FDI. And when we are, let's suppose, considering the FDI, it will not only bring the capital, but it also brings the technologies. I say, like for example, when I'm considering the food processing sector, and in India we have these issues that whenever like the supply of the agriculture commodities gone up, price drastically goes down and farmers are not getting the adequate price their product. So the solution for this is, we need a food processing sector. So we can actually, procure the raw material directly from our farmers, and farmers will get the adequate prices for their product. But we don't have sufficient maybe investment which is required for this kind of investment. So we can rely on the foreign investor. So in a way, we are not giving any interest rate for them. They will bring their technology. They will hire people from the India, and at the same time we are giving the backward and forward linkages. Basically, like the food processing industry, if it is flourishing, then our agriculture products will get the sustainable demand. At the same time, our food packaging industry will also get the demand. That's why we are trying to attract the FDI, into market. But what happened to this, FDI after the COVID-19 when it is started? The overall global trend shows that the FDI flows dropped by 35% to 1 trillion from 1.5 trillion, which was in 2019. This was almost 20% below the 2009 after the global financial crisis. And this decline was majorly skewed towards the developed countries, where the FDI fell by the 58%. And but if you see the another important dimension of this decrements into the like FDI, it is moderate to 8% in developing country because majorly to the due to the Asia. So actually, because of the result, developing economy accounted for the 2/3 of the global FDI. Means, everyone talking about the investment will goes down, but at the same time, in Asia, like country like India, we are trying to attract the FDI. Means we have the opportunity, which is showing it is a proxy indicator. That means investors are investing in Indian market. It is not like they are invest just to for a charity. Obviously, they have some profit motivation behind that, and that's why they are investing. And that's why even the pandemic, we got the good investment. Means it is a science. As we are international, we are into the era of the international business, where we can invest into the other countries wherever we are getting the maximum profit. And that's why the when we see the scope of international business is a huge, because we are not relying only on the internal or the domestic market. We are also looking the international market as a whole, and that because of this huge scope, we have a lot of opportunities into the international market. So if we are seeing again the the announcement of greenfield project and cross-border mergers and acquisition and international project finance deal by the group of economies, only the negative news in this case is that overall the greenfield investment went down in developing economies, and but the project finance and the mergers and acquisitions slowly recovered in 2019 compared to the 2020. These are the some of the sustainable development goals we under, maybe like whatever the things which we have, they all got the negative terms like infrastructure or renewable energy or water, health, food and agriculture, education. There was a negative turn. So this was the global scenario which we can see in a in terms of the foreign direct investment. When we are coming to the FDI inflows in India after COVID-19, it was not like that. We can see there was an increasing trend of FDI equity inflows during the different financial year. Like if you see 2019, 20 and 2021, we are seeing the increment into the FDI flow. Even if you see the month-wise FDI inflows, like for 2019, 20 and 21, from January to September, we can see, there was, when the first lockdown, it was, we saw there was a declining into the foreign direct investment. But after that, we can see from the May, June, July, from the June or July onwards, there was increment into the FDI in India. So if we are considering the which countries are investing into the in Indian territory, it is a Mauritius followed by the Singapore. And then maybe you have this question in mind, why we are no people are saying that we are getting the no FDI from the developed countries, but Mauritius and Singapore is not, though there is a developed we can say the developed country, but they don't have sufficient resources. But how that investment is coming from the Mauritius, which is a small country, because the issue here is we have a double taxation avoidance treaty with Mauritius. So most of the FDI is routed to the Mauritius to India. So maybe the company from the US, they have the office in Mauritius and they are investing into Indian market. So we can see the internalization process here, like many MNCs are having the their offices in Mauritius and Singapore, and there even some Indian companies are having the offices in Mauritius and Singapore, and they are investing into Indian market. So from the international business perspective, tax this double taxation treaty is very has a relevant. Then another important dimension of the FDI which we can see in Indian market is that most of the FDI which is coming in India is in services and computer software and hardware sector. So that is where we have opportunities. Means foreigners are investing heavily into our service and computer software and hardware sector, as well as the telecommunication, trading or construction, automobile, chemicals, drug and pharma, and hotel and tourism. So all this sector, maybe as they are investing, we also know that there is a huge scope. And if you see in the pandemic, because most of the things went on online, and we have a good, like hardware as well as the computer software industry well in place in a city like Pune, Bangalore. Then, and because of that, we can see that many investment which is coming. Let's suppose in a geo platform, there was a huge investment by the Facebook and Microsoft. It is because they know that because the next international business turn will be no, as the Dr. Roy was emphasizing, it will be a digitalization. And because even in a supply chain as well as in many businesses, we need to adopt this strategy, and we have a good advantage in terms of that, and that's why the most of the investment is coming into the service and computer software hardware sector. Then if you see the impact of COVID-19 on the world economy from the longer duration, we can see that initially when this pandemic started, that time most of the project was ongoing project was there was a closure on the sites, and so that's why there was a slowdown in cross-border mergers and acquisition, and new project was stuck into that. So there was automatic impact on reinvestment earning. Means whatever the investment was like each company was thinking to they will reinvest it again, because the profitability was less. They like their reinvestment in earning also went down. And then we can slowly see in 2022 and up to 2030, we can say there can be a reduction in cross-border mergers and acquisition. Then there can be shelving of projects, drop in new investment decision, and there can be a disinvestment, reshoring or diversion. And this maybe can be a turn, but if you see the Indian perspective, because it is basically is applicable for no, it is for the manufacturing sector, but how we have a much investment in the services sector. I think that can like the investment, the impact on the foreign investment or the for FDI will be less into our like because we are heavily dependent on the service sector, and service sector has some growth potential because of the recent trend of the digitalization. So if you see the example of the mergers and acquisition which has cancelled due to the pandemic related reason, so this all is giving the clear signal that there can be a lowering the greenfield investment, which is the investment which is starting from the scratch, but there is a opportunities for the digital services as well as the service sector. So this is the overall impact. There was a downward pressure on FDI, low demand, supply chain disruption was there, and slow capital investment, lower reinvestment. And another important dimension is the deglobalization, which is showing that like this, the EU strengthened foreign investment norms to protect the strategic asset from the foreign acquisition. They have took this decision. At the same time, no, if you see the no, there was a news into the market that okay, we are not allowing the those countries who are sharing the borders with India will not directly allow the FDI from this nation, and it is basically it is for the China, because China started opportunities takeover of our companies. Means what they thought that as the pandemic is impacting negatively on the some of the sectors, manufacturing sectors in India, or our startups are struggling to get the funds in this pandemic. So it is we will buy this startups at a lower rate and we can earn the profit, and that's why we make this decision. Can a non-residents entity can invest in India subject to the FDI policy, except in those sectors activities which are prohibited. However, an entity of a country which shares the land border with India, or where the beneficial owner of investment into India is situated in or is citizen of any such country, can invest only under the government rule. So we made this rule because of this issue of the opportunity takeover, which is because of the COVID-19. As we say, because the many startups like Big Basket, Daily Hunt, Paytm, so all, or the like the some of the like Bijus, MX Player, MyGate, City Mall, all these have the investment from China, and slowly maybe they can actually take over our industry, and that's why we thought that we can actually make the restrictions on this kind of investment. So it this comes under the international business domain, that how we need to, what kind of investment we need to no give some advantage, and we need to stop which kind of investment, that is also comes under the international business. Now I'm moving to the second part of my presentation, which is talking majorly on issues with the logistic and supply chain related to the international business. And if you see this diagram, it is self-explanatory, which shows that right now most of the industries are located in the different parts of the country for making a one product. Like it is an example of, let's suppose the uh, Boeing 787, where most of the parts are no like no is established no manufacturing is different part of the globe, and then it is final assembly is then at the Washington. So maybe some of the part is made in Korea, some of the part is made in Australia, and if you don't have a good supply chain, then obviously, or there is any discrepancy into the supply chain, that will be definitely impact on the overall the business of these companies. Even like if you if you see the, even from India's case, where we have a most of the assembly lines of the industries are into India. So obviously this supply chain got huge negative impact during pandemic, because there was a restrictions on the movement of the people, and at the same time raw material for most of our industry was coming from China. And even like if you see the company like Hyundai, they stopped their production in Korea because there was a low level of supply from the China, and when the supply of the raw material and some of the things which was required for the making Hyundai cars, which is supplied, they stopped their production. So that's why the in international business supply chain is playing a crucial role. Uh, So if you see the the survey which was done by Accenture, which shows that the 94% companies of Fortune 1000 companies are seeing supply chain disruption from COVID-19. Around 75 companies have negative and strongly negative impact on their business, and 55% of companies plan to downgrade their growth outlook. So if you are considering these impacts and supply chain issues, so the solution which is there, as also discussed by Dr. Roy, we need is a digitalization into the supply chain. At the same time, we also need a very talent, there is a talent gap, because right now when we are going to the digitalization, we need a managers who can actually look this digitalization issue, and he should have a knowledge not only of the digitalization, he should also have a knowledge about the international supply chain. So in that perspective, I think there is a huge potential for the international business person who can actually look this kind of issue. So and we need to also make this supply chain more resilient. At the same time, we need to make no all this we need to declining the cost at the same time. So if we are considering the firm level perspective, how we can actually make a supply chain resilience, then we need to have a three solution for this. One is the network restructuring. We can think about whether we need to have a production at a different parts of the world. And if you are thinking about the reshifting, it is costing a lot. Because why companies are investing into the different parts of the world? Because they know that suppose in India we have a cheap labor cost. So most of the assembly line, at the same time, the crude oil which is coming from the Middle East, it is processed into the border of the if you see many coastal border, we have a this uh, crude oil processing industries. And if you are thinking, or the companies are thinking about the reshoring or near-reshoring, then this global value chain will be disturbed. So that is not that feasible option, but we can think about for the longer term. Then we can think about the risk management, which is I think it is a more practical way where we can make some kind of a market intelligence, visibility, or inventory. At the same time, we need to also think about the sustainability in longer term. If you want to have a supply chain resilience uh, in our India, then there are 5 areas where we can think about that. We need to put people first, like develop a refreshed digitally driven procurement operating model and new ways of the working with internal customer and supplier ecosystem. Then we need to have a secure supply base. We unlock fund intelligently, build resilience for future, and innovate with purpose. And finally, when we are considering the this changing landscape of international business post COVID-19, you know that the relevance of international mergers and acquisition will rise. Why? Because we know that suppose uh, if I want to, let's suppose Tata Motors is planning to invest in South African market, they don't have a much idea about the African market. So it is better them to maybe merge with some African company or acquire that company which have already based in that particularly location. So that relevance will be increased, because right now when we are considering the things, we need to declining the overall production cost, and I think for that mergers and acquisition will rise. Then digitalization, which I talked, like there will be a there will be a growth of digitally enabled hyper local business model, like which we have in India, Meso and other things. Then there will be a rise in vernacular language technology or augmented reality education, which we are thinking, because right now the new education policy is also talking about the online education. So augmented reality education will be a huge business opportunity, while the algorithm based interpretation for of radiology images, which actually used for the COVID-19 detection, that has the huge opportunity. And there will be a multi-sector collaboration, which is actually is require will be there. Then companies international trade will largely depend on Chinese role, because though the no, if you see the global scenario, even though right now the most of the export right now the China is exporting, and it is no the superpower into the export. So what kind of a strategy they are adopting? It is also because they are right now thinking about their own business, and the trade tension between the US and China is also one of the important part, because some of the companies are shifting from China to Indian market. So how to tap that opportunity is also depend with us, how to make a business friendly environment. It is also if we are making this business friendly environment, I think we will try to attract the investment which is coming from the China. And the regionalization and localization trend will be intertwined, which is not a good news. But I think the Atmanirbhar Bharat, which our Pradhan Mantri is talking about, so all this, are the localization can intensify, because we know that if you are not getting the good adequate supply from China, then what we will do? Or if you are not getting the services from the country like EU and US, then what we need to do? And that's why we need to make this regionalization, maybe that localization trend will mostly intensify as we see the US-China trade war and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Maybe it is a maybe think of regionalization and localization. So So the final, what I want to say is that, this is a very famous quote from the Taylor. The seeds of faith are always within us. Sometimes it takes a crisis to nourish and encourage their growth. Means we cannot always know, because since pandemic always we heard about the negative sentiments, negative news. But there are sometimes some seeds of faith are always there, and that we need to flourish within ourselves, because there is a huge opportunity for our digital or the service based company which is there. And we already show the, because as we know that Indian economy is a service based economy, and we have the competency into that. And if we can flourish this opportunity, we will definitely will go further. Our international business will go further. And if we are making something business environmental, I think manufacturing sector also within India will grow with the concept of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. And with this word, I will stop my presentation. Thank you very much. And it is my honor and privilege to, like call by my own organization where I work. From thanks to Dr. Roy, and always it's I feel happy to whenever it's UPS name come, I feel happy, and I think it's the topic which was also is very positive, and that was like what like I thought that okay I will present to whatever like thought I want to convey. Thank you very much for all. If you have any question or query, you can ask.
Yes, Naman. So now it is over to Naman, and thank you, the participants. You did a patient hearing of our sessions. We are grateful to you, and Praveen did a marvelous job because this topic is very close to his heart. His PhD topic was FDI actually, and my proximity with Praveen is, he is my younger brother, so that's how we are connected. And session gone a very positive way. So if any question, would be more than happy to address any of the questions. Yes, Naman can trigger if anything.
Over to Karthik, sir.
Acha, sorry, Karthik. Yeah, Karthik.
Thanks, Dr. Rai and Dr. Jadhav, for sharing such valuable insights. There are a few questions which we have received from some of our learners. One is that global FDI trend is falling post pandemic while FDI from India is increasing. What are the reasons of this dichotomy?
Dichotomy, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for this very, obviously it is important questions, because, everyone was like if you see the global perspective, and it is a, we can say that everybody was maybe thinking that, okay, investment will goes down because most of the industries are not performing well. There is no demand into the market. There is a lot of unemployment into the market. So the overall aggregate demand will be goes down. But at the same time, if we see the the how the business landscape has changed. Now it is a digitally driven, and we have the that platform well in place. So because we have the good internet connectivity, which we can say we improved a lot. So most of this service based industry as we have, and that's why to tap that opportunity, most of the investment is coming in this next section. Like as I would give the example, like in this geo platform, many international giants like Facebook, as well as the other industry, they have invested into uh, our within industries. So that's what like is my view, because it is totally driven by the service based sectors.
Just to
Dr. Roy, you
consolidate,
want to add
Province,
something? Yes.
yeah, just to consolidate Province earning, I mean, answer. Why FDI is increasing in India? The prime reason, as he said, service sector and service based technology and all these social media platform technology, these are service industry. And India is one of those countries which is service sector is the highest. I mean, contribution of our service sector in the GDP is highest, around 60%. So we are a service economy. That is why FDI is actually coming, and our macro economy at this point in time is very strong compared to many other advanced countries. So these are the twin reasons. One is we are a service, highly service oriented, and FDI in service sector is primarily coming. And as a macro economy, actually we are very strong compared to many of the developed and BRICS, I mean emerging market economy. These are the twin reasons why we are actually getting much more FDI than
And
other.
at the same time, our business environment, which indicator which is showing, that is
Yes,
overall there
this
is an
again is
improvement.
third important. Yes, business environment is very good now. Ease of doing business is also improving.
Yes, that indicators is showing the positive
Right. Any
indications.
other question, Karthik?
Other question is, sir, will this acceleration trend of digitalization will continue post pandemic, and what are the reasons for that? If yes.
Yeah, very good question, Karthik. So as in the my part of presentation, I talked a lot about digitalization, and you see, to the best of my knowledge, MNCs in India, whether it is an Indian MNC or it is an MNC from abroad, I mean other countries, to the best of my knowledge, work from home phenomena is continuing and it will continue. I suppose this 2022 will also continue because global firms are finding, that is cost saving and revenue enhancing and also giving huge, mental, happiness to their employees, which is actually productive. So these are the two, three reasons why I mean, the digitalization or the digital things are going on in the workplace. And henceforth now companies will find it a suitable solution, whichever tasks this can be, conducted from distance or through digital platform, that will continue. Because, for example, if I would have to come to Delhi to address this session, I'm sitting in Dehradun and Praveen is sitting in, Ahmedabad. Now both of us flying to Delhi and taking this session. It was, and Karthik is, I'm sure, in Delhi or Mumbai. Naman Bora is also in Delhi. So how it would have happened in a very less span of time. So we are actually enjoying well along with our participant students from across the country. So that is the digitalization, optimization, cost and benefits, etc. that is happening, and that will continue because we are finding it a lot of joy with it, and optimizing cost, giving more benefit. This is one aspect. Second,
So
the
actually,
digital.
even so, adding to Dr. Rai, because if we see these digital payments, no, when there was a crisis, everybody, no, we are thinking that no, poor people will not use this Paytm and Phone Pay. But now we can see though, no, even the, some of the pictures, if you are referring the Facebook, even the beggar has the, Paytm or this QR code with them. So obviously, I think no, this digitalization trend will be continue because now people slowly adopting all this because they know that no need to go to the bank and just you can have a if you have an Android phone you can make easily the payments. I think that
This
actually
will.
crisis which the quote I was quoting at the last that was saying that okay sometimes it take the crisis to take the opportunity. So obviously I think that is the good example where the we can have a digital payments in near future also like some of the startups like Pay Nearby that is also coming well into the market.
So, right, Praveen said rightly that disruption has led to this technological. Another few examples which are very very prominent and very very relevant: artificial intelligence, cloud, and analytics. These things will go in a very strong way now henceforth, and every companies are now thinking in terms of AI, ML, machine learning, analytics, and so digitalization is the future. And management student, business students, how we can connect with, we are not technocrats, we are business people. So how we connect with this, how we promote this aspect, how we sell this product, how we price this product, how we see the business opportunities of this product. This is our learning actually. So thank you for asking a very good question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ryan, Dr. Jadhav, for sharing your knowledge with our learners. I hope they have got good insights from your session. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.